Hello. We shall, I think, start with the R100. So let me put that up on the specs here. Before I begin, I did want to just, again, thank the Flute Center of New York for sending this over and for partnering with me. So hence the logo. You can use my code for a few perks: free shipping within the US, 10-day trial instead of 7 days, 18-month warranty on your new flute, and you can take up to 3 instruments out on trial at a time. So I wanted to actually continue working on the Ibert, but we'll just do it with these guys. We'll spend 15-20 minutes on the R100, 15-20 minutes on the R150, and then 15 minutes on the R150 with the 14 karat riser. Yes, the Ibert will get some silver flutes today. Don't forget the hat. I love how silly we are. Okay guys, we need to do some harmonics real quick. Okay, for those of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube, when this is all, you know, edited and stuff, it is December 2020 right now, hence the Santa hat. And the Santa hat doesn't really do anything to the sound, so we're leaving it on. Hey Andrew. Do I find that the head joint had any airiness? I wouldn't say that. It's only airy if you're not putting the air in the way that it wants you to. Right, we gotta stuff air into the flute. You guys are remembering this? Yeah, that one, so on this one, I'm noticing it's that top one that's kind of breaking the pattern. Yeah. So it's very far forward. Everything is very far forward and has to be stuffed straight down into the flute. Yeah. Okay, so I have to remember to aim everything really far down. All right, so we're gonna see how this affects practicing. We're doing the Ibert third movement. Okay. Yesterday that this flute was actually designed for smaller hands, and I feel it. I actually feel it. Everything feels a little smaller. Huge difference in tuning. So let's see. tone keys are so big that, at least to my fingers, they feel like a whole key. Not as high as I'm used to it, which would be good for kids. That's really interesting. Okay. If we keep going. I got lost. How clear those high notes are, even though I'm like just kind of playing like whatever. It kind of plays the high notes for you. That's so interesting. I did just realize while playing that we really should test out other eras with this too. So the Ibert can basically be our modern one, but we'll test out a few other ones, just like little bits here and there before we move on to the next one. Yeah, that's the most challenging part to me, which is why I'm doing it so often. Okay, if we keep going. Okay, do you guys notice how easy it is to get the jumps up and down? It kind of does it for you. And I remember yesterday is because I said that you don't have to go very far in the range because you're stuffing everything so far down. Everything is right up in the front of the mouth. So it makes interval jumps really easy. And this is an R100. Like this is for like, I would say beginner, intermediate. That's really impressive for a beginner flute to be able to play like that. Because usually you kind of feel like going if you're kind of going up and down between octaves. And it has a very clear high register, right? Like I'm very impressed. It's like not screechy or anything. Holy cow. So if we do, let's see, Wrong one. What is this? So it's not a lot of power per se in the high register, but it's very sweet. You guys notice that? Which is exactly kind of, I think, what most people are looking for. Okay, it's icier. I like that. That's a really good way of putting it. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Hey, Fibina Chickpea. How easy it is to do those interval changes? That's actually insane for a silver-plated flute. That is insane. I'm not feeling like I have to do any like crazy sort of like kind of going back and forth in my mouth. Playing more pieces, don't worry. The feeling I'm getting from this is that it's just like, it really is very good at interval changes, very forward playing, allows you to stuff air into the flute the way a beginner flutist would, and it will yield a great sound for you, a great sweet sound. Power, maybe not so much, but maybe you're not going for that when you're at this level. That's what I'm thinking. That is insane that they've made a flute like this. I'm very surprised. Okay, we have to do the end though, okay? Okay. No, sorry. Oh, sorry. I literally just let myself aim all my air down and that F7 just came right out. What the heck was that? Okay. All right. I see you, R100. I see you, R100. Holy cow. That came out very easily. And it's because you can stuff the air into the flute, right? Which is exactly what you want to do, especially when you're at a beginner level. A lot of beginners want to just stuff air into the flute. And so this flute will actually allow you to do that and still get a very sweet, open sound. It sounds like a sharp E, but it's the flute. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? Let's do a smattering of other pieces. Let's go backwards. We'll play a little bit of romantic stuff, and then a little bit of classical, a little bit of Baroque. And we'll do some pretty darn standard pieces. Concertino, Mozart D. I want to pick pieces that one would play on this flute. So let's do some Bach Suite. Like, who's gonna play modern pieces on this flute? Well, pretty much only me. I don't actually think that this is a good fit for my asthmatic folks. So this is not a free blowing flute, I would say, but it does do all the things. Like, it will respond well to you if you are a beginner. I'm very impressed with the keywork. It has that resistant factor that is really good for beginners, just to even out their technique, but it's smooth. It's like butter smooth. So the only thing that this will not give you, like in terms of like, if you're wanting to outgrow this flute, it's because it's maybe not giving you as much power as you want. I'm pushing a lot into it. It's not cracking, but it is maintaining a very, very sweet sound. Yeah, I think it'll sound better on the Mozart. I agree with you, Leon. Let's go to like a really noodly part of this. You guys know the part, you know? Letter G? Okay. Okay, so what I'm noticing 100%, it really allows you to, like, when you're going down into the low notes, it really allows you to kind of do what you naturally want to do, which is like aim everything down. So for example, the part where it goes, right, you can actually aim it all the way down and it actually responds to you rather than disappearing. Nice fat trill key for you to find it. Yeah, it's so interesting. The other thing though is that you do have to tongue light. You have to tongue light and forward. That was double tonguing right there. And it's exactly what I discovered yesterday, which is that this double tongue, you have to double tongue correctly in that you can't go back to your throat for the K part. It has to kind of be up in the front, kind of like a slow flutter. So this flute will force you to do that part correctly, which is great. I think one of the things that you shouldn't cheat too much is the tonguing, because the tonguing is really hard to learn and to correct. But the nice thing is that you can keep the tonguing really far forward and it's still nice and sweet. It's not like spread. Let's do Mozart D a little bit. To go like up and down the 2 octaves there. Let's skip later on. That's so sweet. I just thought of the fact that a lot of people kind of looking into playing the flute, they want to play something lyrical, they want to play something beautiful, but maybe their level is not so high that they can get all the like crazy nuances like that you have to do with your mouth. This flute can, I think, afford, like, get you that beautiful sound, beautiful singing quality it makes your higher notes really sing and be really shimmery and gentle, delicate. I think this is really good for beginners and kind of like, I guess you could say like intermediate beginners, if that makes sense. Isn't that cute? Tonguing is like all up in the front, doesn't need to move around. Very like, you know, it's not as complicated. It allows you to play in a very simple fashion. It's like driving an automatic car, you know? Like you don't have to switch the gears. It kind of switches it for you. All right, we got to do a little bit of Bach. Yeah, you can really aim that low. That'd be so good for beginners. Like this will make you feel good playing this while still allowing the teacher to teach you, you know, good articulation, you know, like stuff like that. But it kind of goes with how a beginner would play. Let's do a bit of the Badinerie. Oh, there we go. Okay, the part that messes up most students is the fact that when you do that interval leap, it cracks. That part going up and down, effortless. You can just focus on just the articulation, which I think is more what you would focus on if you were teaching this. It's really good for a student. Dang. So this will allow you to focus on articulating just general good sound without worrying about like what angle you need to go at, where in your mouth you need to tongue at, blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff, what I would consider more like intermediate advanced concepts, you don't have to deal with any of that. You can deal with just the beginner concepts and the flute will kind of like play it for you on automatic. So this is really good for teaching. Yes, this is a student model flute. Look at the specs. It's silver plated all throughout. Isn't that wild? So this is more like, I would say like a step up flute. So this whole setup here is $2,000. It's not a joke. Like an advanced beginner, intermediate beginner. All right, let's play a little bit of Ibert with the 150. Actually, harmonics first. Right, this one allows you way more power. Do you guys notice that? You get a lot more power now. Still very forward. Yeah, okay, so this one with this silver head joint, let me put in the specs. You guys can already hear the insane difference in terms of power, right? But you do have to drive more manually here. So you are kind of switching gears a little bit more in your mouth, but the trade-off is that you get, one, a lot more control, and two, a lot more power. So everything's a little higher, a little bit more manual. Okay, so Okay, that B-flat lever is way higher. It's way taller. Yeah, the B-flat lever is way taller and it's way more to the left. This is probably better for people with bigger hands. Yeah, I need to stretch my fingers more. The 100 definitely is designed for smaller hands because that part was so comfortable for me on the 100. But on the 150, I definitely feel like I have to reach more. And also, this hand is also reaching more too. This is good for when you are smaller. And then this is better for when you are growing, you know, and your hands are growing. That's so interesting. Oh gosh. Do you hear that? That has a lot more power. It does make me think that you could potentially put this on the 100. I actually want to try it and see if I can get power. And for me, because I have smaller hands, if that feels more comfortable. It's easier. So if it was me buying this, I would actually do the R100 because the build for it is better for my small hands. So definitely if you have small hands, the R100 will feel a lot better to you than the R150. In terms of the specs, they're pretty much exactly the same, except that the R150 has Resona pads instead of felt pads. Well, you can always ask, right? You can always ask to upgrade the pads. How interesting. I think I would probably put the 14K riser on it. I know that sounds like weird to a lot of people, but the thing is, like, it's just the build of it is so much better for my hands. We gotta do the end though. Gotta do the end. Sorry, I keep doing the wrong ones. Also very easy to get out. The range is very, very small. It's just kind of like in the front of the mouth. Very similar to my head joint. Wow, you guys hear intervals, very easy to get. It's an easy to play flute. Let's do a little bit of concertino. Power, right? Lots of power. Yeah, definitely more power. My hands are not as comfortable because they really feel like they need to stretch a lot more. My goodness, I'm messing this up. Definitely, like, you can hear, right? Like, I'm not as comfortable because I have to stretch my fingers so much. One thing that I thought of, by the way, I do kind of feel like I somewhat have to pull back my index finger for it to sit squarely on the key, which you don't need to because this key is just an extension. So I have to kind of tell myself to like play on the edge, your right side edge of the key, and not pull my index finger all the way back. That's partially what's creating a lot of the discomfort right now. And it's really just because my hand is small. That might be a thing for you guys to think about if you find yourself constantly pulling it back. You don't actually have to hit that key straight on. We got to do a little bit of Mozart. Do you guys hear that power? You still have that crazy intense flexibility going up and down, no problem, because the range of motion in the mouth is so small. So yeah, that's real good. And you get that extra power that I couldn't get on the R100. Whoops. Okay, I'm hitting it too far now. Okay. Beautiful. There's a certain extra bit of emoting that you can do when you have that little bit of extra power behind you. That's really nice. The R100 will give you the sweetness, but pretty much that's it. If you want to emote a little bit more, you need a little bit more power. So that's what the silver head joint will get you. Yeah, definitely, guys. If you find yourself pulling your finger back, if you're the one looking at it, it's the top right corner. Just hit that part of the key. That's all you need to hit. Let's get to a more interesting part. La. Very sweet, a little bit of extra power because of that silver head joint. It'll really allow you to emote a little bit more. Let's do Bach Suite No. 2. We're doing the Minuet and the Badinerie. You can dig into those low notes, but they are very forward. So this flute will teach you to play very forward for low notes, start to teach you to come back a little bit for those high notes. So very, very great kind of like teaching step here. Love it. Ah. You guys hear I can do more tone color changes, more dynamic changes. It really is because you have a lot more power behind you here, so you can do more interesting stuff. Oh, hi love. Okay, I gotta go to lunch in 10 minutes, which will give us just enough time to try out this last head joint. Rides a little higher in the mouth, I would say. This one rides higher in the mouth. Yeah, you can really feel it. Right, it's really forward. So highest one is very forward. All right, so I have to remember that really high notes are really forward, so I can just basically spit high notes out. Okay, so. Yeah, you can spit high notes out and they come out really cleanly. What? Wrong one. I got lost. yeah, you can really spit high notes out. It's not an upgrade, I would say, from the silver. It plays differently. Everything rides higher in the mouth, and then you can also really spit high notes out. In the same way that the R100 allows you to like stuff air into the flute if you are playing really loud or if you're playing really low, this allows you to spit high notes in there really forward in the mouth, and it responds. So this is a great way to kind of get those high notes sounding really good, even if you don't have the muscle control to, you know, manually make them polished. That's the word I'm looking for. Interesting. So we got to go to the end. It is a little rounder, isn't it? It's not quite as like wide, right? Yeah, you really have to spit it. There we go. Like, don't try and polish it. Okay, that's cool. Everything's like a little too spread out for me, so it's a little bit uncomfortable. But you guys can hear that like interval leaps. Oh my gosh. So easy, man. That's what I'm finding myself repeating over and over right now in this practice session is, holy crap, they make interval leaps so easy. Holy crap. I love it. It's great. All right, we got to do a little bit of concertino. Okay, you guys get the point, right? Rides higher in the mouth, rounder in general, mellower, a little bit warmer, I would say. Yeah. So I actually intentionally did not try and polish the high notes, and they just came right out. So beautiful and polished sounding. So this polishes your high notes for you. Holy cow. Speed through this, Mozart in D. Again, same thing. Rides high in the mouth. Interval leaps are insanely easy. You don't have to polish the high notes. Low notes you can dig. As long as you dig further forward in the mouth, they'll come right out. Holy cow. Okay, this one, I like the most playing this movement. Third movement. For the concertino, I actually like the silver head joint on that one more. Romantic stuff, I think I prefer the silver power. This piece, I actually prefer the one with a little bit of gold. Just kind of like warms it up a little bit more. I'm gonna guess that this will sound really good for the Bach. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's definitely so much better. My goodness, I love it. I love this. Ah. Ah, I keep doing that. This is what I get for not reading with glasses on and not having it memorized. La la la. At this point, this is preference. I prefer the slight gold sound for the Minuet and the Badinerie here, but if you were to do this as a showpiece, the silver would work better. I would say that this is really good for lighter things. If you want more power, I would definitely go for the silver. So if you like the silver, but you prefer a mellower sound, naturally more round airstream, you'll like the gold more. That part is just preference though, I would say. I'm going to end it right there. Thank you again to the Flute Center of New York for sending over these lovely flutes for me to review and to practice on. I think today we did kind of figure out a few more things about these flutes than we normally would in just the reviews. Again, I still think these are so good for students. Holy cow, these are so good for students. Leaders, I got